You start with the mask?
All right, we'll just open. When Mike gets back in, we'll just get started, I guess, right?
Oh.
All right, guys.
You all set?
And 3, 2.
Welcome to the Logjam. Week 2 is in the books. Darren, how are we feeling this week?
Oh, I think it was a great week. I mean, for at least half the league, it was a great week, right? Half of us won, half of us lost, but overall, very competitive week. A lot of great games.
Couple of big injuries are maybe the story in the NFL, but
sure.
in the League of Gentlemen, the big story, the lead story this week, controversy.
Yeah, controversy over COVID IR spots. Let's just start there. So COVID IR spots we discussed via threads and Zoom calls and voted on them at the meeting that we would expand IR spots, but only for the use of COVID players.
Absolutely. Standard 2 spots for the league. We were adding 2, or potentially we got 2 really infinite spots, as we talked about, of a team. If they're out emergency for COVID, that you don't have to lose them off your roster. But that doesn't change how many people you can hoard based on injuries.
Right. So there was a gray area, or not really a gray area, but this week we had a team who left some players on IR because whether they understood the rules or not. And, whether they understood the rules or not, we voted on the rule. It is a rule.
It was brought to the attention of the league by the sergeant at arms, the person who was acting as, to check those roster spots to make sure they weren't abused. We gave him this position. It happened to be his opponent in Corey and the Cardinal Sid, brings it to the attention of the league. And then now the commissioner has to look. What was the commissioner thought process on the issue?
Well, I thought right away, hey, let's see if there's a rule already in place that we can go to. And the closest rule we could find was that an IR spot cannot be abused by a player who is active. Okay? Well, during game time, somebody that plays in a game.
Who's on the IR of a fantasy team and plays in his NFL game, the penalty for that, in addition to the fine, is losing the points of the highest player at that position or the flex.
Right.
So that is written. That is clear as day.
Right.
It was probably intended to be the consequence of this, but in all of our foresight and all the things we went to do to try to expand the rule book for this, we didn't write a rule, or we didn't talk about a rule. What happens if it's violated?
Yeah, and I think we've all said over time that it's not fair to just start imposing things that aren't written, that aren't rules. So moving forward, we will have a rule for this, but this week we didn't.
The commissioner ruled.
The commissioner ruled that the fine would be $10 per IR spot abused. For Joel, that's 2, so it's $20 fine, and that was the fine for this week.
And as it is, he scores 184 points. He steals the carrot. But if you take away the penalty that could have been imposed, the thing that we're suggesting will be imposed next year,
Right.
he would have lost 2 positions. Would have been McLaurin at 28, Kamara at 24. Not only the first 24 he withstands from Kamara, he still would have beat Corey, but the second one is the one that takes him down to 132. So then you're sitting at 1-1. Your high points goes down. You're not in a bye. You're fighting for playoff spots. Could change a lot of things, but we did. That was the ruling, and that's where we stand.
Yeah, I mean, that was the ruling, and really the only person really I'm sure upset here is Corey, and I apologize, Corey, but I'm sure as a longtime member you understand how things go. We don't have a rule. We're trying to do what's been the best interest of the league. We're going to fine Joel for doing that. But moving forward, guys, keep players off your IR that are not either, those bottom 2, those extra 2 spots are for COVID-only players. So it's going to be $10 per person from now on.
And I think we will vote to probably impose the fine. But in this point, we reached out to both teams for comment. We wanted to cover the story fairly. The Zorro sent Jim from the office to say no comment. And the Sin gave us this quote: "The illegal lineup thing is behind us now. Glad everyone is on the same page. Even the rule cost me a default victory." Unquote. Huge from Corey, I think, to do that probably.
Yeah. Like I said, hopefully, and I know Corey, he's a longtime member, and he's understanding that, like, hey, man, we know what the spirit of the rule is, and we'll get there, but,
The rest of the statement from the Sid, in fairness, he wants to continue his streak. Last year, losing games on Monday night to players on opponents' teams that are playing Monday night.
He wants to continue that streak?
He's looking forward to continuing that streak. He is also looking forward to continue his most points against Crown. A little bit of self-defeating on Corey. Maybe a tough couple of weeks, a tough loss. But Corey, thank you for doing that. I think that wraps up this issue.
Yeah.
The rest of the week, a lot of things happened. We did talk about the injuries, and we did talk about the standings that would have been affected by Joel. What about the standings on the site there?
As far as what do you mean by the same?
So we had voted at the league meeting that we were going to potentially do division, that not to do divisions, to get away from divisions, but it was too late for us to.
Yeah, so by the time we got back into the site and tried to adjust things, we took away the division names, blah blah blah. But it still kind of has us for some reason grouped into divisions. Regardless of that,
moving forward on the Logjam.
Yeah, we're going to run the board here. This will be official score as well as overall. If you click on overall in the league, you'll get
you
the
can see
score.
it too. Also, but we like to do it old fashioned. Like it's like Fenway Park. You know what I mean? It's like the added scoreboard.
Absolutely.
We love it. We love everything about it.
And I'll make sure that the numbers are right when we go into the
playoffs, reseeding, everything is right. So that will be according to Big. We talked about injuries. I guess the other thing we also mentioned. The carrot was stolen for the second straight week. The Gares Scoregasm come up short.
Yeah, they definitely come up short.
I mean, of the carrot though, they won their game. They won. They're 2-0. They're on the top of the league. They are right there in the league.
Yeah.
But they came up short of the carrot.
Yeah.
All right, that'll take us to last week's game, the game of the week. The Logjam Bowl. It came down to literally the last place of the game. I know everyone paid for their full seat, but they were just sitting on the edge.
Oh, buddy.
Because with the literally second to last, like the last full play of the game, the second to last snap of the game.
A little dump to Jared fucking Cook.
JFK, I call him. I know Cook starts with C. There's a K at the end. And just fucking Jared Cook again. It is unbelievable, man. Leaving the afternoon games on Sunday, I'm convinced that I've got a shot here. I've got Diggs going. Excuse me, I had lost Diggs, but I was going to start Fuller. He gets hurt. He goes the full first half, doesn't score. Fuller's nothing. I get Jacobs kind of in and out and back and forth.
Jones
Julio had the 4.4. It was close going into Sunday night, and it just.
Well, like I said last week, we were just honored, honestly, to be on the field with you guys and to have those particular plays. That's the only way we're going to win that game. That's the only way we're going to win that game is for Julio Jones not to show up, for you to bench Stephon Diggs, for those things to happen. And any other week, we know what's going to happen there. But we are thankful for.
Of course, I disagree with that. Darren played your optimal lineup. I laid all kinds of points on the bench. Could have been a different story, but it isn't. That's how it goes. The second matchup last week, the winner of the carrot, we talked about him earlier, the Zorros and the Sin.
Yeah.
Big game.
Yeah, these, like we said last week, these teams don't like each other, so it was really good to see that Joel just put the pedal to the metal and
Kamar comes up big. Really hurt me. Jazeki, a player I drafted this year, dropped in week 1. He picks him up, starts up, puts up a 30-burger. Dak impressive on the Sin side. Tyler Higbee.
Yep.
I think the real news for the Sin, the loss of Christian McCaffrey.
Oh man, I mean, and Corey's going to survive here. He'll make a trade. He'll do what he's going to do. He'll plug and play. But that is that's a big injury not only to the Sin but to the Carolina Panthers.
And as Corey mentioned earlier, 184 is another big number put up against Corey. He seems to be one of the bad luck guys on the league for sure.
He tracks it.
We had the carrot, now the stick. The furry beat Young and Confused 148-123. The carrot. The stick at the bottom end of the pile, but Benter with a big win.
Yeah. Benner had a great week in week 1. He put up a lot of points and put up a great week in week 2. I think Benner's team is going to be a playoff team and obviously somebody to be reckoned with, like you said last time with Patrick Mahomes.
Hey man, the emergence of Julian Edelman as a piece for Cam Newton is big. Plus you got the KC guys. On Young side, Chubb comes up with a really big day.
It is interesting to hear that Young is like fire sailing after week 2. Not that that's not heard of, but
It's interesting in a sense that he's got a couple of studs that he put assets into.
Yeah.
If he ends up trading those away, it'll be interesting. Is he going to get assets back, or will that just get him back to even par? Like, is he going to hang on to his big guys and try to float around the edges? A lot can be done. I don't believe it's a fire sale yet. I think he has, like I said, a chance this week. So
yeah.
Matchup number 2. Before we get to that, there was one note that was brought to the Logjam late. Chris Binter apparently has been arrested in Scottsdale. It's just breaking. We don't have an official crime. Darren, do you have any comment on that yet?
What do we know? What for?
It doesn't say. It doesn't say. There was a skirmish around a bar in Old Town. There are 11 arrests. It does say that Chris Binter is one of them. Any kind of information you would have on that?
Well, yeah, I don't know. It was probably arrested during a very loud and vocal version of what's that? Young Man. There's
Possibly. It is right outside the karaoke bar, though. All right, so we'll get to that as soon as we get breaking news on that. We will get back to you, or check the website later for that. The other game, the Scoregasm came up short of the carrot, but they beat Merci Beaucoup, dropping them to A&2, and they are powered by Aaron and Aaron.
Yeah, and what's funny here is if speaking of Aaron and Aaron,
so
and
Aaron,
the ex-owner of this team,
Aaron.
The Scoregasms have inherited a championship-ready team, so I don't think it was a lot of Gary's doing of just crafty drafting or anything like that. This team was built to win. He literally walked in and inherited like a team ready to win.
Yeah, I think he made some moves. He did walk in a situation where we were convinced he wasn't going to change any rules, and gave himself the ability to bid on those guys, got the bid.
Sure.
So there are those things that went down, but really a big win. Ridley was huge. Jonathan Taylor, who I thought was going to go earlier, he gets at the back end of the first round, has a big night. For Merci, OBJ sighting, I think has got to be makes you happy. Fournette on his bench put up a number, but that's something you have moving forward. I think his running backs are going to come back. I think he'll get clicking.
Yeah, I think Fournette's a good piece moving forward, because I think he doesn't know the Tampa's offense that well, but the fact that he's getting what the touches he is now, as he gets more acclimated, it's just going to open up for him. He's a goal line back. I think that's a great play for him.
And there's there are teams with assets. These two teams, where Steve probably has the running back assets. You see a lot of assets on Scoregasm side. He's got a ton of receivers. He's got like 15, 17, 18 receivers. I lost count recently. Like, he sent me a couple of trades. I don't know. Is he saying you're talking trade with?
Oh, well, I'm not talking trade with him, but he's definitely sent me proposals that are,
Are they ridiculous? Like, it's like they're almost insulting, right?
Well, I guess it's one of those things, like, you throw enough shit against the wall, something's gonna stick, and he doesn't come out strong with, which could turn some people off, where they're like, that's ridiculous, I'm not gonna trade. But he does what he does. That's his. I
guess if that's it. If somebody gets worn down by that, God bless him.
James Conner and Robbie Anderson are available in case you haven't got the text message.
Yeah, they're all on board. I'm sure everyone's on board, but honestly, I was I'm like, come on, man. Like, if I wanted your evaluation, I would have called you last year. Like, I've got my evaluation players. I know what they're going to do. I know what they're worth. At any rate, we'll get past that. That brings us to the last matchup, another game that came down to Monday night. Poway regaled us. It seemed like he was pretty confident. And Darren Waller bore him out, right? It's a big game.
Poway squeaking by again in week 2.
4-point win, but he came back. He got enough. Billy is with us, I think. Do we have him?
Hey, there he is. Let's go.
Hello again. Thanks for having the Poway Titans joining in from the live satellite broadcast. Good to be here. Somewhere new for you today.
Somewhere new? Yeah, where are you? Does she have you in the closet? Are you...
Well, yeah, great question, Tom. We are coming from southeast Gilbert today, all the way down at the Matlick Mansion. But this is where the Titans have their equipment closet and also grow room. We'll get to that second.
Did you say grow room?
Grow room?
What's that, Tom? What do we grow? Oh, well, let's get to that right away. From Poway, little people know, we are a pretty big agricultural society. But for me personally, I chose a different route. If you've been paying attention, I'm kind of in the stick growing game, so to speak. So here in the grow room, we have golden lipstick, we have broomsticks. Tom, well, the Ferrelli family knows about that. The Titans past, we've also grown some lacrosse sticks. We have two types. You know, the kind that I like, and then the kind that little Gary likes.
He must be no longer the short.
Our latest specialty, of course,
Something else?
has been the fresh, pure wood stick given out to the weekly low score. So, as you know, I'm pretty well versed in giving these out this year.
Yeah, but Jess was saying that he'd love to be behind you. Would you know anything about that?
Yes, behind me, we have some of the Hall of Fame jerseys of Titanville. You'll see Larry Fitzgerald over there to my right. You'll see some Sun Devil jerseys. Revealed some Howie jerseys as well. So this is where we go to reminisce about the good times, you know, connect with the past and strive for greatness. It is a place also where we grow things. So 2 stars.
Billy, I gotta be dead honest with you. That mustache is brutal. I know it's a poor thing. Are you getting rid of the mustache this week or next week?
Any idea?
You know, this week the Titans are looking forward to challenging the new guy. Maybe get his first loss and taste of defeat here in this league, other than being denied trades of preposterous measures by him, probably every day to everyone else in the league. I'm sure we could all share personal stories about the ridiculousness of Gary's trades. But hey, at least he's trying and give him A for effort with that much, right? But this week I see him maybe faltering a little bit against the Titans. I'm going to go a low-scoring affair, believe it or not, 142 to 139. Titans take the 3rd win of the year and a step closer to that magic number of 7 for the LOG.
Nice.
Guys, I wish you all luck. I hope nobody gets bit too bad by the injury bug this year. Holy cow. Dropping like flies. So knock on some wood. Gary, this is coming to you this week, buddy, so open up.
Get ready for it, buddy. It's good to see you, man. Thanks for coming by.
Absolutely, guys. It was great being here again. Hope to see you live next week. If I can open up some time and get out of my room of growing sticks, okay? Peace out, love. Must win, baby.
All right, Billy. Sorry, the music played out. You know, it's fine, but hang on. All right, see you, Billy.
Yep.
Logjam 2020. You hear the music starting already. It's the thing we did last week. Start me up. Picking a couple of matchup starts or sits, whoever they happen to be. I did happen to go 3-0 last week, which is big. It's funny, we don't keep track of picks every week because we only 1 and 2, 4 and 5, but 3-0 I happen to remember, so that was fantastic. This week, so we're going to get our pick from the producer.
Quarterback matchups. Got Patrick Mahomes at the Baltimore Ravens. Versus Russell Wilson at home against the Dallas Cowboys.
All right. Well, I mean, I think you know, it tells you to take Pat Mahomes right here. I think that Baltimore defense is tough. I think that's a lower scoring game that people are looking at. I'll tell you right now, against that Dallas defense, I say let Russ cook. Darren, what do you think?
I'm going to take Pat Mahomes because I think that Dallas defense is good enough to slow down that offense, maybe less scoring, but I think that Kansas City, that offense is going to be scoring, so I'm going to take Pat Mahomes.
I mean, it's a safe pick. He is, again, Pat Mahomes. Next pick from the producers.
Right, the running back matchups. We got Alvin Kamara against Green Bay.
And?
Versus Chris Carson, also at home against the Dallas Cowboys.
All right, I went first there last time. Who you got, D?
I'm going to, again, take Alvin Kamara here. I just think that, you know, he's going to be a bigger focal point of that offense than Chris Carson. I'm thinking the Dallas defense is going to show up for that game.
I mean, Chris Carson is on your team.
Yeah.
I know the script would say to go against you here. I don't know if Chris Carson is as big a part of that offense, particularly in the let Russ cook era. I'm with you. I think Alvin Kamara is the start in this game. What's the next one from the producers?
Tight end matchups this week. We have Mark Andrews hosting Kansas City versus Darren Waller traveling to New England.
All right, I guess I'm first here. I mean, Mark Andrews was a target of mine. I wanted to get some Mark Andrews shares this year. I think they do okay against Kansas City. But after Monday night, watching Darren Waller just chew up yards of being the focal point of that offense, I got to take Darren Waller at New England for me.
I'm going to go the other way here. I'm going to go with Mark Andrews because Kansas City's defense isn't amazing. Mark Andrews is going to get some targets. I think that Darren Waller is going to be taken away by Belichick, who likes to take away your best player, and especially after last week, I think.
Who else is there?
Yeah, I think that's a focus.
That's good. That's good. I like that pick. We'll check back in after Start Me Up, but that will wrap it up for this week. That takes us, Darren, into next week's matchups. I guess we'll pick who we'd enjoy. We know a couple of things. We know there is going to be an winless team, and we know there's going to be 2 unbeaten teams at the end of this week. What happens in the middle, whether it bunches, whether it separates out, that remains to be seen. But the first game, the 0-2 Hard Luck Sin at the 0-2, possibly underperforming one of our favorites, Merci Beaucoup.
Yeah, I think this could somehow find game of the week because both of these teams are so desperate and going to be playing hard for their first win. And I'm going to take Merci Beaucoup here.
You know what? I think both teams are scrambling. I think both teams have assets. I think there were some bench points. I think there's some flexibility to play matchups. I like the Sin in this one. Matchup number 2, 0-2 Young and Confused at 1-1 Avalon. I'll jump in here since it's my turn. I think Avalon is hurting a little bit in that locker room. I think Young and Confused is, again, a team, like you said, with their backs against the wall. It's make or break. They're going to come out with all their muster. I think Young and Confused is going to pick this one up.
Well, I understand why you would go that route, but I also think you could probably play, 7 starters and still win this game. So I'm going to take Avalon here just on pure talent of roster.
Maybe suggesting I don't pick up a kicker at the end of the week. That's fine. Matchup number 3 to you, Darren. Another 0-2 Daddy at the 1-1 Binters Fury.
Ooh, this should be a great game. I'm going to take Daddy.
We've got the 0-2 Daddy. I like that Furry offense. I think it's furry, it's cuddly, it's got some expansion to it.
Yeah.
I don't know if he'll be out of the can in time to change his lineup or not. We will try to give you an update on the Binter arrest a little bit later.
Yes.
But I take the Furry in that one. The next matchup, the Poway Titans, begins our unbeaten matchups. The 2-0 Poway Titans traveling to Chicago to play the Windy City Scoregasm.
This should be a great game to watch. There's a bunch of great matchups this week, but both, you're talking about a team that's put up probably the most points of any other team. Well, actually has put up the most points other than any other team, but still, as always, just come up short.
He does, but you have to give credit where credit is due. He is on top of the leaderboard, like you said. I said last week, I know the champion hasn't performed necessarily. He's skated around some potential spots where he had lower scores than probably those scores. But until you beat the champion, I'm picking the champion. I will take Poway in this one. And that last matchup, I'll go first. It is the 2-0 Zorros at the 2-0 Your Mom's Pimp. It's again a matchup like where are the blow-up spots? I think Joel has tried to position himself this year to have some pretty high upside nights. So I would see your team maybe as a little bit more consistently performing within a couple of windows. It's going to win you a lot of games this week. But in this one, I'm taking the Zorros. I got to be honest.
Yeah, I think that's a great analysis. I will also take the Zorros here.
All right.
In a runaway.
In a runaway, he's got it, man. Well, hey, man, we had a fantastic time doing the pod this week. I know we tried to reach out to a couple of teams as far as to get some comment. Again, we think we have a couple of guests booked maybe for the next week or two, but we'd love to get you. A lot of ways we can do it. We can film an interview during the day or night. We can do a lot of different things. So please reach out to us. We'd love to have you on the jam.
Yeah. Thanks again, guys. Good luck in week 3.
All right.
Peace.
All right, man.